So we're looking at the grippin in FreeCAD. This is an STL model. I made this in LibreCAD, and I thought it'd be fun to import it and cover some mesh modeling in FreeCAD. So you can download this from my GrabCAD account if you would like to follow along. You'll see that my graphical updates are a little bit slow, and this is a very kind of heavy model for an STL. And so to try to increase the performance and make things easier throughout the video, I'll use a mesh decimation, as I've covered in some previous videos. We'll go to Mesh Design. And here I can say Meshes Decimation, and maybe I'll run a 63% decimation. So this will make it quite a bit rougher, but since we're generating smooth surfaces as an approximation of our mesh anyway, it shouldn't be a big deal. You can see we're just a little bit more rough. Not bad. So from here, how do I start creating approximations of this surface? The first tool that I want to use, and I'm going to talk about for the large majority of the video, is on the Surface Workbench, and this guy right here, which is available in 0.19 version of FreeCAD. So if I say help about FreeCAD, right, this is my version information. So you know it's at least available in this version and onwards. I don't think it was actually available in the very first ever 0.19 release of FreeCAD, interestingly. So if you're running 0.18 rather, you have to go to freecadweb.org, go to the downloads, go to the development versions, and download 0.19, and whatever they have up there should have this nifty feature. When I click on this, it allows us to start making a line or a spline across the surface of a mesh. Very handy. Let's talk about some do's and don'ts. I'm going to undo spline approximation. We'll cover that later. So wire is very simple. I'm going to click on Start, and then I'm going to click on two places to make this really simple. Right, so I click here to here, and you can see a really straight wire going from one end to the other. Notice my viewport is not isometric. It's not looking straight on. It's not any particular view, right? We're just looking at this at kind of a cool looking angle. So when I'll right click and actually create my wire, and so now I've got the straight line, but all is not well. If I rotate my screen, you can see I didn't actually draw a straight line, and it is going all over the place, right? It's screwy wampus. That's no good. So I'm going to go to my model and hide my polyline, pretend like it never happened. Of course, you hide things with the space bar. And I'm going to go to a top view of my model. So I'm going to click on Start, Create. And this time, I'm going to do multiple clicks that will help FreeCAD understand my intent of where to go, and possibly even more importantly, I'm doing this with a view that is straight on. Now I'll right click and create, and look at that. We have one wire that is going from one end to the other. Or do we have one wire? If I look at the tree, I have this polyline and this polyline, and it seems to split up in the middle. I did not ask it to make two polylines, so why did it? And to answer that question, we have to take a look at some of the options available. Hopefully, FreeCAD will let me delete my previous work. We'll go to Tasks, and I'm going to go back to my top view, and let's talk about snap tolerance. I don't know if there's much to talk about here. When it's set to 10, it's saying that that is the minimum distance between clicks that this will be allowed to do. But split threshold is actually quite important. It's saying if I'm bending more than 45 degrees, I'm going to split my wire into two wires. So if I up the tolerance to something, or threshold rather, if I up the threshold to something like 180 degrees, and notice that, oh wait, actually I'm going to click Start, never mind. I'm going to go from here, and let's try to do roughly the same thing. Right, so we've created this nice wire, right click, create, and it's created it predictably as I've wanted. It's holding very nicely to the surface. If I go to model, look at that. we've done the same thing, and now it's one wire. So that split threshold command is really important to know what you're doing. Let's talk about spline approximation. And this is where it gets a little bit more complicated and resource heavy. Some of these options here are tolerance to mesh, right? And that's to say, we have a mesh made up of completely straight surfaces, and we're trying to approximate the curvature that will come from those straight surfaces. And point 2 is just a default setting that happens to work very well, in my opinion, on approximating most meshes. I hesitate to change this value. It seems to work very well as it is. But if you need to know, the smaller the number that you put in there, the more it relies on the mesh for curvature. The higher the number, the less it relies on the mesh. So if you have a very, very tight, fine mesh, use a small number. If you have a very, very rough mesh, use a high number in this box. And if you don't have a clue, leave it as is, right? I've hardly had any bad results leaving the tolerance that way. Continuity rather is C2, and it determines how the spline interacts with the mesh. C0 means that it must be touching the mesh. C1 means it must be tangent to the mesh. C2 means that it matches the curvature of the mesh. C3 is acceleration curvature. I always leave that on C2. And then maximum curve degree defaults to 5. It goes from 1 to 8, and it is the degree of the spline to be able to approximate the surface. So leaving these all the same, right? I click the start button, and now I'm drawing a spline rather than just a wire, but the principle is the same. I'm going to start clicking, and this is a little bit more process heavy, so I'm going to click slowly. And you can see it updates my clicks very nicely. And here we're going to kind of a high curvature area. So I'm going to have more of a fine resolution of clicks across this area here. And I've got a little fin that I'm going to try to avoid. I hope I didn't throw that in too much. Right, now we're back onto the surface of the wing, so we should be able to be a little bit more relaxed as we were. And I'll right click and create. And by the way, if you make a mistake, you can always say clear, and you can start all over again, right? So there's that option. You have close wire, which will take the last point that you've clicked and connect it into the first point that you've clicked. So if you wish to do a closed profile instead of an open profile, like what I'm doing here, you have that option as well. I'm simply going to create, and you can see that our spline becomes invisible in certain areas, right? And that is because our spline is trying to approximate in between all of our clicks. And you can kind of tell that our spline is coming way out here, I think on both ends actually, right? So we don't have that accurate of an approximation. And I could click more, or I could try to adjust some of my settings. Let's just take a look to see what that looks like, right? I'm going to delete my spline. We'll go back to tasks, and because our spline is coming off the surface, we could probably say C0 with the same other settings and get an idea of what that looks like. I'll take my view back to the top because your viewport is a little bit more important when doing this kind of stuff. And I'm going to say start, and I'll fast forward so you don't have to sit through my incessant clicking. Alright, so there we are with C0. You can tell that we're still having a little bit of inaccuracy. And I chose a complicated model on purpose. That kind of brings some difficulty in here, is to try to force myself to adjust these settings. I'm going to go back to C2, and let's make this 0.025, right? Something quite small. I'll go to my model, delete my spline I just made because it's not approximating the model very well. And with a much smaller tolerance, I'll start on this view and begin clicking again. And you'll see with a small number in this box, we are holding much more tightly to the body of the plane. Something that complicates this also is, even though I didn't click on this fin, it is trying to bend a lot over this fin, right? So be aware that even if you don't click on features, if you wish to exclude this fin, it is probably better to use a series of profiles that exclude that fin. I will do that now, actually. I'll run my profile just shy of that. Alright, so now I'm not clicking on anything that is way too abrupt and changing, so I'm going to create my spline, and look at how nicely it follows everything, right? So, a few tricks of the trade. Avoid really abrupt transitions like this, because you could tell that this was a feature that was added after the body was created, and that trying to do that all in one really throws things off. 2, click frequently in areas where there is a lot of mesh, or I should say a lot of curvature that you wish to approximate, and then you can use a lower number down here if you're very confident in the curvature of the mesh. If you got a rough mesh, maybe a higher number would be better. This is going to take some trial and error, but I think we have at least this top surface represented all right. I'm going to do one more just so that you can see what multiple transitions look like. Alright, so I've created a few splines. My middle one is a little bit looser than the other ones, right? Fewer clicks, but I think we've done pretty good altogether. So I'm going to close this. And now from our Surfaces workbench, I have this tool. Creates a surface from a series of sectional edges. Now I'm going to hide my model, or my mesh, with the spacebar. And let's grab this little sectional guy here. We're going to add an edge and choose this line. And then I'm going to add an edge and choose this line. And look at that, we've got a smooth surface that we have been able to recreate. Now this is interesting. What if I add an edge and choose what I initially made? I get that little circle with a line through it. I cannot select things that are not B-splines, right? So let me cancel that. And really, this polyline is good for maybe a few things, but not for what we want to do here. So I'm just going to right click and delete this. We'll go to tasks. Actually, I'll show my mesh again and reopen my tool. And I'm going to start approximating another B-spline, and simply in the same spot that it was before. So that was with a 0.2 approximation, and that didn't come out quite as good. I forgot to change the tolerance back to something that was a little bit more tight. So you can see we're going way out here. We'll go back to model, we'll highlight my spline, and it also looks like it split the spline into two. So I've got a few things I have to work on. We're going to delete this, and I'm going to try this one more time. And I'm going to get it. I'm going to leave this in the final edit because it's important to see, possible mistakes that can happen. So going to the tasks menu now. We're going to change that back to 025, and we're going to make sure that this is something sharp like 180 degrees. Everything else, I think we're going to be pretty good. So I'll re-add that with the settings that we've used before. Alright, we're going to right click and create. And of course, we've created a B-spline that isn't perfect, but pretty darn close. So we'll close that. I'll hide my mesh once again. We'll go with, I almost think of this as like a lofted surface from here to here, and then from here to here. All right, so we've created that surface. Now, I'm going to say OK on that. All right, I'll show my mesh here, and this is kind of fun where we can do a little bit of a comparison. I'm going to go to my view settings here. In fact, I'll just highlight my mesh, view, we're going to go to appearance, and change my transparency to something like 75%-ish. And now I can see my surface inside of my mesh, right? And I can go ahead and close that. And we can see how well this surface matches what we have. Now, this isn't perfect because my clicks were kind of sloppy and quick, but I think you can get the idea that we have a really good surface that sort of models this, this jet fighter. So that is the way to create NURBS surfaces from mesh. There's a lot of settings to understand, but once you get it, it's kind of straightforward and it works really well. I really commend the people who made FreeCAD. I mean, these are world-class features that you find in really great CAD platforms, and to be able to do stuff like this is just incredible. So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.